Hello.
Okay. Hi. Okay. So, welcome everyone to our first Instagram live that we've ever done. Um, we are Abby Keene Healing and Andrea Maxine Healing and Coaching, and we wanted to dive into an experiment with Instagram Live. It's a new platform for both of us. We've been on Instagram for a while, but Instagram Live is a little bit different. And we wanted to keep it real with all of you and have some grounded conversations about what it takes to actually put yourself out there for your creative work, your professional work, your healing work, and talk about the behind the scenes, like what it really takes to bring yourself forward into the foreground of your work and business and also your personal life. So it impacts all areas of your life. And today's topic is the conundrum between being and doing. So I know for me, what I've been noticing in my client sessions and also for myself is this competition between the being and the doing, and the question around what actually creates momentum and traction, what actually moves the needle. And I think what I hear a lot of the time is I don't know exactly what I need to do to move my business forward. I don't actually know what I need to do to move my creative work forward. And so showing up in that question is usually the first step. And so for those of you that are new to our work, Abby and I work with women who are eager to fully express themselves in their work, in their creativity, and also in their personal lives. And, we've been really passionate about this concept of what it really takes to show up fully. And so we're going to talk a little bit about how we can get stuck in the doing and not actually fulfill the tasks with a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. So Abby was talking with me earlier, and I wanted to ask you to expound upon this concept of, you said something really interesting about how we only trust in the doing and we lose a part of ourselves without practicing in the being. So I wonder if you could talk a little bit about how that shows up for you and in your practice with clients.
Yeah, thank you. And I do have to say before I even talk about that, that this is a really big deal. I've never done a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live. And we've done videos before, but there was always this thing about if we don't like it, we chuck it, we don't use it. And this feels like plunging into the pool of unknown and risking it. And so I love that we're saying showing up and keeping it real, because this is us showing up like this, kind of raw and kind of not knowing how to go about it, and trusting that just being ourselves is enough. Because I think for those of us who have a hard time putting ourselves out there, especially with social media, we're having a hard time because we don't want to fit the mold and we don't want to do this thing that everybody does.
Yeah.
And we might not even like social media to begin with. And yet there's a need to promote our businesses and our work in the world. So it's such a difficult, like, how to navigate. I don't want to do it. I have to do it. So can I do it in a way that I can be aligned with it somehow, and not in dissonance with myself? So you and I are here, and I think the only way to do it is, I'm here. This is me. I'm not pretending. I'm not trying to be anything. I'm just gonna show up here and share what feels, real to me, without trying to be an authority or an expert or blah, blah, blah. So I just needed to put that out of the way, because doing a live feels like a big leap into being real
Yeah.
and live at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, so to answer your question from before, sort of that being versus doing, I think there's a bigger question there because we do have to, at a certain point, and not right now, talk about what we mean by being, because being might mean different things for different people. And people have different experiences of what it means to be as opposed to do. But I can speak for myself, and I notice it with my clients that I feel like I'm going to talk about myself. I'm going to leave my clients alone. But there's so many similarities between me and my clients, right? There's no wonder that we're paired. Um, I think in my life, I was raised to trust doing, and like extra
Mm.
doing. Like, I feel like my mom too. It's like, I'm productive, therefore I am. I cross the things off my to-do list, therefore I can feel worthy of being in this world. And so when it comes to also promoting my business and doing for my business, I can rush ahead of myself and try to do a lot of things for my business. But in that process, I fall out of my own alignment. And
Mm.
I only trust in that if I do everything that I'm supposed to do, my business will take off and everything will be okay. Interestingly enough, I think what is really being asked of me, because my business is me, is to learn to surrender and to trust that I don't take steps forward if they don't feel real
Mm.
and they don't feel like it's me. And so there's something here that needs, like, how do we navigate that too, right? Because things need to be done. There are certain tasks that need to be done. But if we overdo them, we lose who we are.
Yeah.
And if we don't, and also if we don't do anything, we're not promoting our businesses. We're not, you know. So that friction between being and doing for myself, I find that my clients and my type tends to overdo and rush forward, miss out on ourselves, leave ourselves behind. And that brings me back to, well, what is being and how do we access that and find how to work from that place and trust that if we do, that is our doing.
Mm, 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 mm.
And I'm going to
It's such a,
give it to you now.
yeah, it's such an important part, I think, of the creative process. So if we look at, like, the way I look at it, in my practice, right, with healing, coaching, business development from a very intuitive perspective, the first phase of development is really knowing who you are. And without pausing, without connecting, without making the time to actually feel ourselves, the steps that we take, the choices that we make are based on habitual patterns of behavior versus maybe a deeper aspect of our essence, right? So what we're talking about in terms of being, and I think, we work on this because we work essentially with the body first, right? The home of everything you're going to create, share, uh, bring forward is in the consciousness of who you are. And so I think, where I see the interrupt or the skipping over is the aversion to actually feeling in our bodies the fear of taking action, or the fear of actually looking at something deeper and trusting in who you are versus trusting in the productivity that was always rewarded as a conditioned response from external validation, right? So what we're speaking about today is the potential and the possibility of slowing it way down so that your doing is actually informed by being. Why is that so important? Well, it might not be important for you. You might just need to do and get it done, and that's fine. But we're talking more for the women, and also for me, I think the spiritual entrepreneurs that are wanting to build something in alignment with their soul. If you want the alignment, you need the being. And you actually need more of that than you think. Like, even for my clients who aren't interested in building a business, they're doing deep healing work and they are seeking for meaning and purpose in life. The being state is foundational. I really don't know how we can go forth and create and build anything without knowing how we uniquely connect to our own sense of self. I think that's just primary. And it's overlooked because we live in a culture that prioritizes productivity. It prioritizes performance. It wants results. And granted, yes, I want that as well. But what kind of results are you seeking? Are you seeking results from a place of alignment? Are you seeking results from a fear-based, perspective where, there's an urgent need to make money, right? Like there's no more urgent cause for action and innovation than, survival. But when we do that, when we skip over what the true information, our body, our presence, our being is offering us, we can end up creating habitual cycles of overwhelm and confusion and really not know what we need next. I think that's what I see is like the confusion, the overwhelm, especially from needing to perform on social media,
Right.
right?
And how do I want to feel in my life? Because when I go into this vicious cycle of overdoing and
Mm-hmm.
kind of bypassing myself, the feeling inside tends to be of like a burden and kind of a sense of panic and anxiety. Like I feel that in my system. I feel the unjoy of it all,
Yeah,
and it's not sustainable and it's not me. So, you know, I'm just thinking about here we are here,
yeah,
and it's like a reversal of energy. Like one pulls me out of myself and I kind of gush forward and leak myself all over the place and try to keep up with and fit in with this and that. And it really feels like a bypassing, and the other feels like the energy actually is reversed, and I'm like I'm coming back into myself. And you talked about the body. I'm coming
mm,
back into myself. So for example, very simply, here we are together, you know can I be here with you and anybody who might be watching without pretending, without you know trying to fit a mold, without even like doing my hair in order to show up here. And and as I'm here, can I be in my body? Can I settle back into myself? Is there a sense of like trusting that I don't have to create anything around me and show up in a certain way, and just be me now with you? Can I trust that that might be enough? Because we're so trained to not trust that.
yeah. And I'm curious, and I have like, I don't know how much you can hear behind, but of course a truck showed up. So talk about imperfect action and just, doing it before you have it all figured out. Um, you know, I would love to hear from you how this deeper sense of yourself created impact in your business, in your creative work. Like when you had that aha moment of a particular task that you had to do that maybe you were doing just out of obligation, and it switched to seeing how when you came from uh, a deeper connection with yourself, it changed the quality of the task. So to bring it into like a practical example, and I'll think of one as well, but can you, for me, what comes up immediately is writing, right? Like I
Mm,
can't actually write something that I believe in if I am not connected with a deeper part of myself, right?
mm,
It's just not possible. and often I won't enjoy it. And sometimes I have to write when I don't want to, and it's not always enjoyable. But there is a difference in the quality of the writing, whether I like it or not, or whether I feel, I'm sort of under the demand of my own taskmaster to get it done. There's a big, huge difference when I actually sit and contact myself at a deeper level. The task actually becomes easier and happens much quicker. So the slowing down, the deeper connection with the self shifts the task itself, right? It makes, and so I'm just curious when you notice this for yourself. When, have you noticed, maybe in the beginning of bringing yourself forward, something was excruciating and it changed because you approached it from a different place within yourself. So I'm just wondering if you have an example like that.
I have many, many examples, and I kind of feel like that might be our next segment in our next Instagram live, because that it feels like a big topic in and of itself. I would say it's a work in progress, and I would say that I'm constantly losing myself and needing to refine myself. I lose myself in the, when it comes to business, for example, if I write one newsletter a week and I post five a week, and if I just, only if I do that will my business will succeed, and the sense of panic and not enoughness. And maybe that can be our next topic, like doing out of not enoughness. And I feel like it's me constantly being reminded, and I can get more specific, but I do think that maybe that's our topic next time. Um, Check in with my body. This does not feel good. I can't sustain that. I'm suffocating. Um, I sometimes even had like waking up in the middle of the night in panic. I can't do that. I can't do that. And I can't, the reason I can't do it is because it's not aligned with who I am. So something needs to let go of it all and trust in the pausing. Like I have to let everything go and just stop what I'm doing right now,
Yeah.
because I'm spinning from this place that is not the place of alignment. And I have to trust that I can drop everything that I'm doing and check in with myself in this other way and ask and be able to see, almost like why I'm doing it like that.
Right.
What is why am I working from this place? Why am I so distrusting? Why do I feel like unless I work my ass off, nothing's going to happen? Or it's but I'm going to stop here because I do feel like it's a huge topic,
Yeah.
and I would love to riff on it next time.
Maybe we will next time. And yeah, I would love to hear more about that. And I guess before we go, because we wanted to also be efficient with our timing and keep it brief. But if you were to say, what is one practice or one aspect of the way you work behind the scenes that has really shifted your trust from only trusting the doing into trusting the being? Is there anything that you have cultivated, kind of a, you know, tool in your pocket, so to speak, that has really helped shape the way that you work in your work, with your clients, on your business, in your marketing? Is there one thing that you've loved integrating?
Yeah, I would say 100% the body, because our body is our inner compass and it's constantly telling us the truth. Our mind can, try to tell, tell us all sorts of stories that are not true, but the body is like an inner compass. And sometimes we think that we have to like know how to and be practiced in. And I want to say, no, it's way more simple than that. Just stop for a second and ask, How am I feeling right now? And your body will show you. Am I feeling burden in my chest? Is my throat constricted? Am I like my emotional body is all triggered? You
Yeah.
know, does that feel light? Does that feel heavy? Does that feel like it's burdening me? Does that feel exciting? Am I feeling butterflies around it? Um, the body will just tell you the truth. Don't go so far.
Mm.
It's right here. It's inside.
Mm.
So learning to listen to the reactions that are obvious. They're clear. They're right there under our nose, and they will tell us, you know.
Mm.
Indigestion, nutrition, very simple.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And you?
Definitely. I think I I agree. I think for me the example would have been once I started integrating my personal practice of reading the Akashic records. That's when things really shifted for me. Um, and learning how to hold that in the body in practical ways for my business and not let it take me off into fantasy, but actually using my deeper sense of connectivity and intuition in my business in a very practical way was when things
Mm-hmm.
really truly shifted. And I think there can be this belief that, you know, Akashic records or energy work or intuition is impractical, but I wholeheartedly um, believe that it's in service to grounding us even more into the practical in real, beautiful ways, and is inherent to the creative process. So yeah, that's kind of my secret love is, you know, the channeling work and how that plays into creativity and how creativity is really your superpower when it comes to launching your work out into the world. So definitely that would be my answer for today. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I'd love to invite the audience who is, you know, if you're watching this and you get caught up in the doing and you're missing the being, type in a yes or let us know how you know, where you find yourself on the continuum of being and doing and how it plays into your life and your work and your relationships. Are you, do you have a good, steady, solid practice? Are you looking for one? What are your questions? What are your comments around this topic of being versus doing? And, you know, where some of the hesitations of, you know, stopping and pausing and just being? Where do you feel caught up in the hamster wheel of life? Even though I don't like that metaphor, but so if you, we would love to hear from you, and also if you have questions or other topics that you want us to bring to the Keeping It Real conversations, we'd love to hear from you. So please let us know how this is landing and if there's specific topics you'd like to show up for. We'll be here again next Monday afternoon between 1 and 2 p.m. Central, 2 and 3 p.m. Eastern. And we look forward to continuing the conversation with you all. All right. Thanks, Abby. Love you. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.